Hi, this is Grammy from Grammy and Grandpa Read, and today I have a book for you called Bigfoot Cinderrrrrrrella by Tony Johnston and James Warhola. Once upon a time in the old-growth forest, a band of Bigfoots lived. An enormous snag towered above the other trees close to their camp. Inside its hollow halls of bark lived a dashing Bigfoot prince. He was tall and dark as a Douglas fir, with his feet like cedar stumps. He was as odoriferous as his tree home was coniferous, and so horrendously hairy that Bigfoot women near and far longed to marry him. Whew, that was a snaggle of words. Whenever they saw him lurching along, they blocked his path with deadfalls. They draped wildflowers around themselves, then batted their matted eyelashes to stun him into love. But the prince loved nature best. "No picked flowers," he bellowed at them in a voice rough as bark. In this place where there lived a Bigfoot woman and her 3 daughters. Well, really only 2 were hers. The third was a stepchild. The daughters were puny things with dinky feet, almost furless as Bigfoots go, and as sour as little green berries. They spent their days bathing and picking their teeth with fish bones and sleeking their fur with pine cones. For fun, they threw rocks at spotted owls. The stepdaughter was just the opposite, nearly as woolly as a mammoth and golden as a banana slug. With feet as long as canoes, she loved nature and would harm no creature. Her stepsisters despised her and they made her work. Although her name was Ella, they roared at her so much everyone called her Rella. Rella, fix fire. Rella, catch fish. They forced her to comb their fur and stick wildflowers in it. If she tugged them out, they put back twice as many. In spite of this primping, Rella was sooty from the fire and stinky with fish. So they teased her like stinging mosquitoes. "You beast," they laughed and held their noses. "You positively reek. You absolutely freak." And they bathed her a lot in the creek. Eek! One morning, Rella went to the river to get supper. She fished all day and tossed her catch onto the bank of the silvery pile. Rella was bigger than the bear, so she could have shooed him away, but she was too kind. She let him have the fish. When she shambled home empty-handed, her stepsisters rubbed their bellies and bellowed, "Food, food, food!" They forced her to fish all night. Now, every year, the Bigfoot Prince gave a great fun fest. There were gifts and foods and games like jump the fire, bear cave hide and seek, and hurl the hemlock. But log rolling was the favorite. This year, whichever woman rolled the prince off a log into the river would become his wife. Rella's puny sisters hoped to dunk the prince. When he snagged a putrid furball, "Prince, me rule whole tree place," yelled the older one. "Me pick all flower," the younger one grinned. When they bellowed together, "Power, power, power." So they smoothed their pitiful fur, then spruced up with wildflowers and wearing fine bark clogs to grip the log, they clomped to the festival. "Me go too," Rella hollered after them. She adored to sweat in the wind of the games. Her sisters hooted so hard they fell down. "You stay, catch plenty fish. We catch prince." How Rella longed to go. Sadly, she stared at the river. She saw a fish jump. She made a wish on the fish. Me wish go fun fest. Me wish dunk prince. Heartfelt wish is true wish, growled a gruff voice, and so you go. Rella spun around. She was staring at a bear, the very one she had given fish. Who you? She asked. Me, your berry godfather. Rella was overjoyed then underjoyed. She mumbled, me got no bark claws to keep on log, feet too big. No be bug brain, snorted the godfather. He swiped the air with a paw. An instant, an enormous pair of claws appeared. Rella tried them on. They fit perfectly. Then Grizzly waved a paw over her, and poof, the wildflowers and she wore were dust. And he patted and matted her fur, and it tangled into the very best. It tangled like the very forest floor. She boomed, thanks, and gave him a crunching hug. Be back sundown, he warned, or you be like sisters make you. No fur and smelly, but plenty flowery. Rella wasn't worried. She had lots of time. She skipped off, shaking the whole forest as she went. At the Fun Fest, there were Bigfoot women from every clan. The games had begun. One by one, the women leaped onto the log where the prince crouched ready. One by one, he dumped them into the water. Rella's stepsister hated games, but to catch the prince, they'd do anything, even give logs a twirl. And they hoped a good drenching might even wash off his stench, but they never got the chance. When their turn came, the prince saw their wildflower chains and glowered. He tossed them in the water, snarling, "No pick flowers." The day grew late. Everyone had tried to win. Everyone had failed. The Bigfoot prince rumbled, "Rats, no bride." He was about to slouch home when thunk, Rella bound onto the log, pounding her chest and whooping, "Me dunk prince." Grunting with all her might, she spun the log with a big twist. Then she gave it a twist and a floop, and the prince flopped into the river. There was stunned silence. The Bigfoots were slow-witted, so it took them a while to figure out what had happened. When at last they began to chant, "Bride, bride, bride." The sun was setting. Rella saw that and rushed into the dense tree, shrieking, "Eek!" just as her matted fur went sleek and the wildflowers began to sprout. The prince lurched from the water, dripping and crushed. His dream woman, shaggy as the forest floor, smelly as a fish, and strong, was gone. Scratching his craggy head, he slumped down on a boulder. Drat, 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 he gnashed his mossy teeth. Where'd my stinking beauty go? Then he saw one big bark clog. Hers! Now perhaps he could find his princess. The prince shuffled from snag to snag, cave to cave, lugging the lost clog, but though all the Bigfoot women tried it on, it was too large for anyone. The moment he reached Rella's cave, her stepmother and stepsisters pounced on the prince, wrestling the clog from him and jumping into it eagerly. Their feet were too small. They all fit at once. Then Rella bounded up, yelling, "Me try, me try, me try, me, me, me." She did, and her foot fit the clog like a seed in a pod. When she pulled out its mate, Bigfoot Prince knew he'd found his bride. He thumped his chest and roared with joy. The stepsisters roared too. In tantrums, they yanked up some wildflowers and saplings, and their mothers kicked the prince black and blue. Soon, there was a rowdy wedding in the old growth forest. Everyone was invited. Even Rella's stepmother and stepsisters could come if they followed the rules carefully. No pick flowers, no pull trees, no kick royal family. Oh, that's funny. A cute little twist on the Cinderella story. I hope you like this book. Please subscribe to our channel and like the video.